wonderful demonstration of what those of us whose hometown is enduring 2 years of highway and bridge replacement can only dream might happen throughout the country, but your focus on innovation and flexibility is greatly appreciated. And Mr. Chairman, thank you for your focus on both resiliency and climate adaptation, and frankly, being blunt about what's possible, what's necessary. I look forward to talking with you about sustainable aviation fuel, an area of particular interest to me. But Mr. Secretary, thank you. Thank you for your leadership of the department at this critical time. I'm going to focus on rail and transit, which I suspect doesn't surprise you at all. I'm grateful for a request that is robust. I'll be leading the letter for the Amtrak request to $3.3 billion. But I just wanted to focus on the relationship between the IIJA, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and sort of year-over-year operating appropriations. I think it's critical that the FRA move ahead with all deliberate speed. They are developing their project inventory, I understand, a necessary first step, but help me understand how you're expediting getting money out there so that projects move forward swiftly, appropriately, and what's the impact if there is a cut in annual appropriations because of a misperception that the IIJA funding is supposed to be year over year? I understood it as addressing a long underfunded backlog of state of good repair maintenance issues, and we need both robust annual appropriations and these IIJA investments. Speak to that briefly, if you would, and then I have 2 more questions.
Okay, I'll try to be brief then, and thank you for the opportunity to make clear that there is a distinction between these capital needs and the regular annual operating funds. And yes, the IIJA makes it possible to pursue long-needed improvements, the upgrades to facilities, including maintenance facilities, the acquisition of new rolling stock, which is urgently needed. Ultimately, the vision will call for the replacement of 1,000 locomotives and cars over the years. If there were to be some kind of shortage in another source of funding, that would set back this vision that's making it possible to enhance the reliability, the dependability, the frequency, and ultimately the speed of travel along these Amtrak routes. And it's very important to be able to support both the year-to-year operations and those capital needs.
Well, as someone who spends a great deal of time both on and with Amtrak in my home state and with the region, I think these investments are critical. In terms of climate, I'm pleased to see the President's budget emphasizes the key role DOT plays in mitigating climate and developing resilient infrastructure. We both served in local government in the decade that I was in county government. We had to face several 500-year flooding incidents and then respond and adapt. Delaware is the lowest lying mean elevation state and faces critical challenges from sea level rise. I'd be interested in your view in the $47 billion in resiliency investments that's in the IIJA. How do we implement that effectively in a way that looks at resiliency? And I have a bipartisan bill with Senator Murkowski that would require a chief resiliency officer, as many states have done at the federal level, to help coordinate across agencies, and a resiliency plan across federal agencies, as many states have done. I'd be interested in your response to that.
Thank you. The issue of resiliency is only going to continue mounting in importance, and too often we find that local and state transportation authorities have felt in the past compelled to, by the structure of our funding, to restore things to the way they were, even if they know that is restoring a vulnerable asset to a vulnerable condition. For example, a road that's being washed out frequently. And perhaps the right answer is not to put it right back where and as it was, but to put it somewhere where it will be better protected. These are exactly the kinds of things that resiliency funds, such as the Protect grant program created by the IIJA, can support. And while we are working within our department to make sure, in the context of the individual program management and then at a policy level, that we're paying attention to resiliency implications, would certainly welcome the chance to work with you in your office on being involved in any other structural approaches that would help us have an interagency level of coordination as well.
Thank you. Last, the chairman raised workforce. I think all of us are concerned about workforce, particularly the highly specialized workforce that's needed. Delaware is home to 2 of Amtrak's major repair and maintenance shops. They have just restarted an apprenticeship program. I look forward to working with you and the chair and ranking member on workforce issues around transportation. In every aspect of transportation, we face both the opportunity and the challenge of training and having available appropriate, skilled, organized labor to continue, at least in my state, to do the servicing that they've done for a century on Amtrak's rolling stock. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Capito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank the ranking member.